guest. His name is DeLonne. DeLonne, you guys?
I'm really not that special.
Yeah, you
What
are.
I have to say, you'll realize I'm really not that special. But really quick, it's important for me to say this, that I am not affiliated with the Department of Corrections, the state of Arizona, DES, Arizona at Work. Carol's my friend. I met her about a year ago at the Second Chance Center when I graduated. My only connection to this office here is that my parole officer is Officer Mullins, and he's like down the hall to the right at the end here. So I'm still on parole. I've been out about a year now. They asked me to come and to just share what's worked for me over the past year. And so I hope that what I have to say will resonate with somebody here. Just really quick, a little bit about me. I'm a 15-year veteran in the Department of Corrections, and I'm not 40 yet. So I am the epitome of what happens when math goes wrong in your life. Because ultimately, I can look at my life over the past 39 years and I can tell you exactly where I've gone wrong each and every time. I can tell you that when I should have said no, I said yes, or when I said yes, I should have said no. I've had the equation in my life wrong all these years. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's very simple. My son is in 7th grade, he's 12. I work on him with math. I'm not that good. I can't really help him with this math, but this is very simple for you guys. If you take 1 minus 2, what's the answer? But what if you flip it around and you go 2 minus 1, you get 1. All you did was you took the same two numbers and you just flipped them around. And 1 year in the positive, 1 year in the negative. How does that happen when you have the same two numbers? We're talking about yes and no. The same two, the two little words. One's 2 letters, one's 3 letters. And yet they can have monumental ramifications on your life. I was the guy that many years ago, I would be yes, yes, yes to everything that people that have no bearing on where my life should be going. I would say yes to them all the time. My partner say, hey man, you want to go smoke, you want to go drink, you want to go half on a bird, you want to go pull a lick, you want to go do this, that, and the third. I always said yes. But I could never understand why I always ended up in jail or I always ended up in prison. I could never understand why every time I turn around, I'm starting all over again. Why now I gotta buy a new car, I gotta find a new job, I gotta find a new place to stay, I gotta get new clothes, I have to do all of these things all over again. It's a shame when you're 39 years old and you're starting all over again. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm not the youngest person here. So I hope that when you guys now having this opportunity to start over again, you really take this serious because it boils down to a couple of things. What he said was great. I don't even really have to come up here and say anything because he said it all in a nutshell. The key to being successful out here is very simple, guys. You just have to be an adult. That's it. Being sober is part of being an adult. Not robbing and stealing and those things like being in the streets, being involved in gangs and all of that nonsense, like that's not being an adult. Being responsible, paying your bills, taking care of your family, your kids, making sure that you pay your taxes, making sure that you're a good neighbor, a good steward of what God and the community has given you, like that's called being an adult. That's what at least I have struggled with my entire life. Because even when I could pay my bills and I could have a job and I could be functional over here, I was still getting high and I was still living the dark life, not being able to kind of merge the two lives. And when you don't live a merged life, you're not completely one way. What ends up happening is that you end up falling off of the ladder. So I was out 8 years before they sent me back to prison. 8 years I paid taxes, 8 years I worked, 8 years I owned property, 8 years I did all the right things. And then I got a DUI and they sent me back to prison for 8 years. Because I took my foot off of the gas. Because I thought that because I'm paying my bills and because I'm really not like breaking that much of the law, I'm not doing all the shit that I used to do. I'm not robbing people. I'm not selling drugs, or at least a ton of drugs, right? I'm not out here doing all of these things that'll get me 10, 15, 20 years. I thought that I could get by doing that. And the reality is you cannot live a dual life. The Bible says you either have to be hot or cold. Do not be lukewarm, because if you are lukewarm, what's going to end up happening is that you will make a mess of your life. And then you're going to be back in this very same seat again, starting all over. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of the starting over. I'm tired of getting out, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst. Prison is easy. 15 years, I ain't never had a problem doing time. And it's not to say that I did time on these cupcake yards. I've been to SMU. I've been to the walls. I've been to every 4-yard in the state of Arizona. The time is easy. It's getting out and starting over that's hard. Because this is what happens to most of us. is that we get out and we start over, and the shit is not as easy as we thought it was. So we instantly go back to what we know. That's why the recidivism rate is the way that it is. That's why 10,000 new people enter the Department of Corrections every single year. If you don't believe me, if you've done more than 10 years in your life, just look at your DOC number. Look at when you came in, and then look at when the new guys are coming in. 10,000 new people every single year. So maybe you're tired, maybe you're not. But here's what I can tell you, is that I've done this now a few times. I've sat in that seat, I've gotten out, I've had a parole officer. When they tell you, hey man, don't run, it's different, I promise you it's different. I remember what it's like when you come in hands-free and you leave handcuffed. You come in the front door, you leave in the back, they say, hey, we just want to talk. I know what that's like. I've gone in there, I was the sucker that went in there and said, oh, they just want to talk to me. And as soon as you bend the corner, they cuff you up and they send you on back to prison. You're like, damn, I couldn't get nothing in order. I got money in my pocket, couldn't give my car keys to anybody. It's not like that anymore. And I can tell you, I can honestly tell you, I've had a couple of instances, nothing major, but I've had a couple of instances where before, they just sent you back. But this time it's like, hey man, let's have a conversation. What's going on? Like they actually, truly, really care. They actually, truly, really want to help. And they don't really want to send you back to prison if they don't have to. That's the parole department. The people at the courthouse, oh, they don't care. They're still sending you to prison. They're still going to give you baseball numbers if you act up. So you can't get it confused and think that because they want to help you that you get a free pass to continue to be a child out here in the streets. You can't. You got to be an adult. So if you have an issue, and here's the thing, I've been doing this now for 3 months. I come, I speak, I interact with people. There's a lot of people I know. Some of y'all look familiar. I probably interacted. We've met probably on some of these jobs before, right? The worst thing is I give a card to somebody, and then they call me a couple months later, and they say, hey, man, I messed up. I've been on the run. I've been getting high. Can you help me? And my answer is always the same. Absolutely not. There's nothing I can do. It's too late at this point. We can go and we can talk to your parole officer, but we know what's going to happen. They're going to send you back. So the time to call me or your parole officer or Kara or Tamara or any of these partners or anybody else is like right away. If you get high, the best thing to do is call somebody and get the help that you need and then start all over again. At least you don't got to spend 8, 9 months, 10 months in prison, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in prison, and then start all over and let the whole world pass you by. Go to rehab for a few weeks, get it together, and let's try this shit again. But don't run and don't wait. That's the worst thing that you can do. The second thing is that, man, at the end of the day, you just got to stay the course. You just got to stay down. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You're going to get a lot of no's. You may hear some people say, hey, call me, I'll give you a job. And then you call them and they don't answer. And they don't call you back. That's how it goes. But if you really want it, you got to call them again. And then you got to call them again. And if it doesn't work, then you got to pull up. You got to show up. And then when they give you the job, you got to be the hardest working person there. Don't take for granted the opportunities that are going to be given to you because the opportunities are out there. You just got to learn to say yes and walk through these opportunities. And when they give it to you, don't take it for granted. If you're not interested in working for somebody else, that's cool because it's never been a better time to be an ex-con and own a business. I just played golf on Friday with a guy who opened up Winslow. And that was maybe 25 years ago. Today, the guy owns a business that does $50 million in Arizona. $50 million. I played golf with him and his son. This shit is crazy. And he's an ex-con. I was hoping to get him here today. One day, we'll get him here. He's committed to it. It's never been a better time. They're giving out money like candy. And they understand now that we, whether they like it or not, are going to be reintegrated into society so it makes sense for them to help us. Because you're going to be somebody's neighbor. You're going to be next to somebody in traffic. They don't want to have to worry about who you are. So people are now willing to look at you different and help you. It's different. I promise you. I'm living proof. I have a full-time job, but I own 3 businesses. I just bought 37.5 acres of land in St. John's, and we are starting the process of developing that and turning it into a glamping site. And this is off of resources that I've utilized based on people that I met through the Department of Corrections and the Second Chance Center. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. I'm serious. It's never been a better time. And then the last thing I'll say, what he said is very accurate about mental health. My problem in life is I've always allowed my pride to be the first thing to walk before me. So when they say, hey, you should go to therapy, I said no. The problem is that that's stupid thinking. That's backwards. Because the wealthiest people in the world pay the most money for therapy, for personal coaches, for hygienists, for nutritionists. What does broke-ass me got that they don't, that I feel like, hey, I got it all together, guys. I can figure it out. I'll do this on my own. That's why I always end up in the situations that I end up in, because I trust myself. I believe the shit that I tell myself. That's like going to your doctor and saying, can you help me put in my transmission? I cannot be trusted to give advice. So the best thing that I've done over the past years is I've trusted people who can help me navigate my life accordingly. So I've been in therapy every single Tuesday. We changed it to Thursday now. But every single Thursday, I go to therapy like clockwork. And so now I have somebody to help me to deal with my finances, to help me to understand the law. I have people in every single aspect of my life that it's important to have counsel. Because if you don't change your circle of influence, the people that you spend the most time around, I don't got to know you know you. I can just look at the people that you hang around with. I can look at the people that you buy into and the advice and information that you take, and I can tell you where you end up in 3 to 5 years. It ain't rocket science. All you have to do is look at the people that are doing and are where you'd like to be and just kind of follow suit. If you don't want to end up like people that are on the streets, then probably don't take their advice. You probably don't want to hang out with them. You probably don't want to do the things that they're doing. And it's unfortunate because some of these people are our families and our friends. But how bad do you want it? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Every single day I wake up, I look at my son, and then I look at myself in the mirror, and I say, how bad do you want it? Because I've been out a year, and let me tell you, man, my life is great. I can't even believe it. I wake up, and this shit is a dream to me every single day. I'm a single dad. I'm doing very well for myself. I've been in my son's life since the day I came home. It don't get no better than that. I spend a lot of time giving back and volunteering my time. And I get paid, and I literally only do the things that I want to do. And I'm allowed to do it. And I'm the happiest that I've ever been. And you guys can experience the exact same thing, but you have to decide today that this is what you want to do. And you have to see it, and you have to go and put in the work. That's it. I brought cards. I encourage everybody to take it because here's the reality of the situation is, again, I'm not affiliated with anybody that's going to speak here today. I'm my own guy, on my own time, on my own dime. But you are my brothers and you are my sisters, and I know what it's like to be in that seat and not want to call your PO or call Carol or call Tamara or call somebody that you have no idea. You don't know them. You don't even know me. But at least you can know that I relate to you and I've been in your shoes. So if you want to talk, you need a ride, you need a job, I come with my own set of resources that I can extend to you. I want to. I implore you, take a card and use it. Thank you, guys.